I'm a private businessman today, a business of medicine and business of marine logistics.
I'm an ophthalmologist. I was born quite a few years ago to the family of Chief Architect and Chief Mrs. Vivian Uku.
I went to a straight primary school in Lagos, St. Patrick's Catholic School hereby in Lagos.
I was born in England and we moved to Ibadan, where I started a school called Mary Hill Convent School in Ibadan. But with the creation of the state, I then moved on to the present Edo State, which was Midwest State then, and I attended a modern primary school.
And then from Standard 4, I went into secondary school. I went to Hossey College, Warri.
I went on after that to Holy Child College, Lagos, which was a school that my mom had attended together with two sisters of hers. So I went on to Holy Child College, Lagos. I was in the boarding house.
From there, I did a stint at the Federal School of Science in Lagos and proceeded to the College of Medicine, University of Lagos, to read medicine.
And when I finished from then, I went on to England to Ancaster House School. This was a boarding house in the UK where I went on to do my A-levels. After that, obviously I wanted to study medicine, and before my admission came through in the University of Ibadan, I went off to a university in Nashville called Fisk University. I was to start a pre-medical degree program there. But when I got admission into the University of Ibadan and the University of Ife, I just decided that I wanted to be sure that I was directly into the medical profession, and I chose to come back to Nigeria, a place I love so much, to study medicine in the prestigious University of Ibadan.
From my primary school days, we lived in what looked like a barracks. You had to struggle to get everything. You had to struggle at the point of getting water from the tap to have your bath. You had to fight, be on the queue, use buckets to fight yourselves. Play for us was running around, and we had a cemetery behind us, and we would jump into the cemetery to go and pluck fruits. And when you used the stick to stone the fruits up there, trying to pluck the fruits, and it fell on a grave, you took it and made a sign of the cross. That was how it was, for us as children.
I was the eldest of 8 children that my parents had, and being the eldest, you had to take charge of everyone else. If you were the eldest, you got to choose things first. So if they bought slippers for everyone, you choose the color that you wanted, and my favorite color was blue, so I always got to choose things first. I grew up with all my siblings, but we also had lots of relations who lived with us, cousins, aunties and uncles who were much younger, so we grew up in a very happy home.
We did all those things like You know how masquerades was being, young children come together to do masquerade, and then we did masquerade, and then we will leave the house in the morning, come back in the evening, going around with a little masquerade to different homes, you know, and people will be pursuing you, dogs will pursue you around, you know. So it was rough and tumble, but that was what prepared one for the future.
My father was an architect, but he loved gadgets. So it was a home where he had cameras all the time. There were little videos. He loved to play the guitar. He loved to play the piano. All this he was self-taught. And then he'd take us swimming. He'd take us fishing. All these other things which my other friends never did. We went for picnics, you know, together with my mom and other things. My mom, on the other hand, was obviously a very busy person because of her job. She worked with the government and traveled a lot. But then with her, we had the opportunity to travel. She said traveling was an education. So we went all over the world as children. From secondary school, I'd been to the UK. We went to America, went all the way to the Philippines when she went there for a course. So I traveled a lot. I traveled the world. And we traveled with family. We traveled as children with each other. And we got an opportunity to have an education abroad.
I graduated from medical school, and I was now working in Benin. Yes, so we had, you know, we had what you call Itsekiri youths at that time. We were young boys, my classmates in Hosi College, and you know, those of us who grew up around here, Warri and Benin and all that. You know, we put ourselves together and formed a group called the Itsekiri Youths Association. And then we had something in Warri, and we invited the mom, who was then a permanent secretary in the ministry, in the then Bendel State Ministry. So she came to give us a talk.
My mom suddenly said, I'm going off to give a talk somewhere. It's something being done by the Itsekiri youths. And last year they were not very happy that you didn't come along, so I want you to come along. And I thought to myself, my goodness, I want to attend my cousin's wedding. And now you're asking me to go and to worsen it all, as it were, at that time. We had to now change from our nice dresses into a complete Itsekiri outfit, which would have been a blouse, a wrapper, and a head tie. It wasn't much fun at that time. So sour face, we arrived there.
It was during that picnic, or during that conference, or whatever, you know, that I walked up with some magazines. I walked up to her and said, look, you ladies, would you like to help sell some of these magazines? And then she said, why not? And then she took the magazines from me.
And using that guy, he actually decided to take my phone number so that when I sold them, he would come and take the money. I never sold any magazines. He got the pay for all the magazines, and the rest is history.
I started harassing her with telephone calls. After that meeting, then I used to go to Ibadan, you know, when she was still in medical school. So I'll drive to Ibadan. In fact, on one occasion, I had an accident when I was going. But then I visited quite often, and I proposed to her in a nightclub, RS nightclub in Ibadan. You know, we went, you know, to the nightclub, and that was where I proposed to her. And then she agreed, and that was it. So I think less than a year after we met, we had a native long custom, and 3 months later the real wedding in Benin here.
And this very, very, very large wedding was planned. Everyone had to be a bridesmaid, all our relations, friends, all their children. We must have had like 50 people on the bridal train. Everyone had to be there. We had flower girls, little things with frilly things, different colors of things. We had umbrella girls, they all had the special umbrellas. And that it was a very, very interesting day. I actually smiled so much that at the end of the day, my cheeks were aching. It's never happened again, but obviously it was a very happy day for me. We had so many guests. It was all like a blur. I think the most important thing was getting married to the one that you loved at that time. So we had friends from Benin, and I had some classmates who came all the way from the University of Ibadan. And it's interesting that many of them had never sort of come this way before, and they actually attended. So it was a wonderful wedding day.
At that time, I was already doing some little business on the side apart from my medicine. I was already doing some boat rentals and things with a Gulf Oil company at the time. So I had small change in my hand, and so I was getting around quite a lot. So that gave me the confidence to be able to, at a very early age, go into politics. Even though I lost the election, the governor appointed me into the Bendel State Executive, the cabinet of Bendel State. I was a special advisor to special duties commissioner.
Which was very nice with Bermuda. I remember attending very many functions. Each evening seemed to be a function. And I did worry about putting on weight, because if you were eating in the evening after 7, it would be quite difficult. But I think very quickly, with the Bermuda regime being toppled, we suddenly found ourselves almost homeless. But thanks to the parents, we had a place to move into.
On the morning of the coup, I remembered my mother-in-law rushing to my house in GRA here and said, "Tosa, you people have to pack. There's been a coup. You have to pack." So we had to pack. I was still carrying my little baby at the time. And my wife said to me, "Look, this is over. Politics is over. Now we have to live our lives." And I said, "Yes." So I started and set up Tona Hospital. And so from there, the kids started coming.
And I was very ill for each pregnancy. So ill that one would have imagined that I would still go on to have so many children. But each child has been a blessing. I was fortunate to be able to travel to have all my kids in the UK. Most of my family lived there, and there was an opportunity for me to spend time with them. I had 3 months off work, and so I'd be there and I have my kids. Although Tosa was in Nigeria then, he didn't mind.
I didn't make a mistake at all in going after her. I didn't make a mistake, because my wife has been a solid pillar of support for me. With all the politics that I did and all the things that I did, not having time, not being at home, but she's been there solid, taking care of the children, without her, I don't think I would have been half where I am today. You know, she's wonderful. She's level-headed, very thoughtful. She encourages me. She doesn't, you know. In fact, she's very hardworking. And I hope my children will, you know, they will take more after her than me, because she's been actually the pillar of the house.
Tosa is actually a very practical person and a lot firmer than I am, and that has helped the children in his own way. My mother talked about the dignity in labor, and Tosa believed in that very much. I think because they shared the same star, the same zodiac star. At that time, I was probably a resident in the University of Benin. And since then, things have moved on with the dint of hard work and God on our side. Things have worked out well. After he lost his job with the government, my husband started off Tona Hospital. I was still working in the University of Benin teaching hospital.
I had a hospital and I had the marine business going on at the same time. So I was managing. I would see my patients, you know, then I would get my boat quartermaster to brief me what was going on. I put in my bills and things like that. And then I started doing all sorts of different contracts too with NNPC. Then, you know, and so I was virtually doing everything, but I was managing my time. I was the owner of my business. I was not obliged to any boss in government or anywhere. So I was my own boss.
It was a consensus that we should sort of put ourselves together, and I started off Prime Opticals. The rest is history. So it's been an interesting journey, and for there things went on. It was forward always, backwards never, by the grace of God. And here we are today.
My mother.